Playback. Good afternoon and welcome to Midday Prime. I'm Amritpal Singh. Over the next 1 hour, we bring you all the stories and updates from India and around the world. We'll update you about the happenings in the world of business and sports, and we'll get you some interesting stories that are making the headlines. But first up, the big news of this hour. Union Home Minister Amit Shah in Chhattisgarh in wake of Saturday's Naxal attack holds a high-level review meeting with Chhattisgarh Chief Minister and senior security officials in Jagdalpur. Says will take the fight to its logical conclusion. Pays tributes to the martyrs of the Naxal attack. Will meet injured soldiers. Bombay High Court orders CBI probe into allegations of corruption against Maharashtra Home Minister Anil Deshmukh. Directs the CBI to submit a preliminary report within 15 days. Terms allegations leveled by former Mumbai top cop Paramveer Singh against the state Home Minister as grave. All arrangements in place for crucial assembly elections in 4 states and the Union Territory of Puducherry tomorrow. Polling to be held on 234 seats in Tamil Nadu, 140 in Kerala, 30 in Puducherry in a single-phase election. Polling also to be held for 40 seats in Assam and 31 in Bengal for the third phase of polls. In Jammu and Kashmir, the work on the Chenab Arc Bridge is complete. The arc, set to be the world's highest railway bridge, will connect Katra in Jammu to Banihal in Kashmir as part of the 272-kilometer-long Kashmir Rail Link project. The cumulative vaccination coverage in the country approaches 8 crore mark. 8 states continue to report steep rise in daily new cases. Union Health Minister to meet health ministers of 11 states tomorrow. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to interact with students, teachers and parents through Pariksha Paycha on Wednesday. The Prime Minister will share tips on handling exam stress in the program. And stock markets slide in wake of the increasing number of COVID cases in the country. Both Sensex and Nifty fall by more than 2%. Those were the headlines we were tracking this hour, and now the news in detail. Let's begin with the big news. Union Home Minister Amit Shah today held a review meeting with Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Bhupesh Singh Baghel and top officials of security forces in Jagdalpur over the Naxal attack. On Saturday, speaking to news persons, Amit Shah assured the countrymen that this battle against Naxalism will be intensified and the country will win it in the end. He added that both central and state governments are working in tandem on 2 fronts, that's intensifying development works in tribal areas and the fight against armed Naxal groups.
और रिव्यू मीटिंग के अंदर ये लड़ाई की गति किसी भी तरह से कम न हो, ये सुझाव अफसरों की ओर से ही आया, जो बताता है कि हमारे जवानों का मॉरल अभी भी इंटैक्ट है और आगे बढ़ा है। और मैं देश को विश्वास दिलाना चाहता हूं कि लड़ाई रुकेगी नहीं और गति के साथ आगे बढ़ेगी और इसको हम अंजाम तक ले जाएंगे। ये लड़ाई में अंत में नक्सलवादियों के खिलाफ हमारी विजय निश्चित है।
The Home Minister said that the government stands shoulder to shoulder with the families of martyrs in the time of crisis.
जो जवान शहीद हुए हैं उनके परिजनों को भी मैं ये बात कहना चाहता हूं कि आपके भाई ने, आपके पति ने, आपके बेटे ने जो देश के लिए सर्वोच्च बलिदान दिया है, उसको देश कभी भुला नहीं सकता। मैं भारत सरकार की ओर से आपको इतना ही कहना चाहता हूं कि संकट की, दुख की इस घड़ी में पूरा देश आपके साथ खड़ा है और आपके परिजनों का जो बलिदान है वो व्यर्थ नहीं जाएगा। इन्होंने जिस उद्देश्य के लिए अपना सर्वोच्च बलिदान दिया है, वो उद्देश्य को हम जरूर सिद्ध करेंगे।
And earlier, the Union Home Minister and Chhattisgarh Chief Minister paid tributes to the 14 security personnel who lost their lives in the Naxal attack in Jagdalpur. Amit Shah laid a wreath at the coffins of the martyrs. Twenty-two security personnel were martyred in the attack on Saturday. And this attack had taken place on Saturday night, where 22 of our security personnel, including CRPF jawans, were martyred in a Naxal ambush on the Sukma-Bijapur border in Chhattisgarh. It took a little time for the bodies to be recovered, and also some Naxals were killed in this crossfire between the security forces and the Naxals. And for more on that story, I'm joined by my colleague Nandita Dagar, who is joining us for more updates. Nandita, the Home Minister held a review meeting today with the top security officials. The Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh was also present in the meeting. Yesterday, the Home Minister had held a meeting in Delhi with the top security officials, where IB Chief, top other officials related with the fight against Naxalism were there. What transpired at these meetings? Give us what is the strategy of the security forces now going to be?
Yes, Amrit, I could not, I lost your audio quite a few times in the between, but I guess you're asking about the meeting that the Home Minister held yesterday as well as today. Now, yesterday there were macro plans being made yesterday in the meeting, where the Intelligence Bureau Director as well as senior officials of the Home Ministry and top brass of the CRPF took place in Mulling in a meeting which was chaired by the Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah, and he had cut short his visit to the pole-bound state and come back immediately. As soon as he landed, he chaired that meeting. Macro plans were made in that meeting, but as of now, when he visited the ground zero in Chhattisgarh, in Bijapur, as well as Jagdalpur, where he paid homage to the martyrs, he's also met the kin of the martyred soldiers. So this gives a visible message, visible signal, not just to the countrymen that the nation, that the Home Ministry and the government will lead from the front in fighting this menace. Also, it will also give a signal to the Naxals themselves that the Home Minister is coming to the ground and he's chalking out a strategy with the local CRPF leadership. Now, the focus would be on how to smoke the Naxals who had gotten away on Saturday, how to smoke them out of their holes and how to hunt them down and eliminate them, neutralize them, because Home Minister Amit Shah has very categorically in his Twitter account also, as well as speaking to the media in his speech also to the families of the martyrs, reassured them that the sacrifice of these lives will not go in vain, and he is certainly, the main focus now is to hunt the Naxals who had ambushed this party on Saturday and bring them to justice. This will be the first priority, and second, of course, there is the macro plans of long-term plans. The Naxal problem has, of course, come down to a significant degree. It is now just prevalent in Jharkhand as well as Chhattisgarh. So this is something that the Home Minister Amit Shah will be talking with the local leadership of the CRPF, IGs, etc.
Nandita, as you say, the Naxal problem has come down. This attack, in fact, took place after a long hiatus. Can you hear me now? Nandita, can you hear me? Am I audible to you, Nandita? All right. Nandita, if you can hear me, I'm asking you that this...
I cannot hear you.
I don't think Nandita can hear me. Nandita, confirm once again. Can you hear me? All right. Nandita, we'll try and reconnect with you. We were having issues in the audio with Nandita. We'll try and rectify that and try and reconnect with her. But moving on for the moment, let's talk about the world's highest railway bridge, which was completed today. In the terms of the arc was completed today. So the bridge is going to take one more year to complete. With the completion of this majestic arc today, the construction of the iconic Chenab arc bridge, which will soar 359 meters above the bed of River Chenab, and which is actually 30 meters higher than the Eiffel Tower in Paris. The Indian Railways has reached another milestone. The bridge will provide the much needed all-weather connectivity between Katra in Jammu and Banihal in Kashmir, and therefore linking Kashmir round the year, round the clock through the railway network to the rest of the country. The CMD of the Konkan Railway Corporation Limited, Sanjay Gupta, said that several challenges were faced during the completion of the arc of the bridge. He added that by next year, the bridge will be completely functional. These are visuals of that bridge.
क्योंकि आर्च टेक्नोलॉजिकली जो है ये आज ये ब्रिज कंप्लीट है, क्योंकि टेक्नोलॉजिकली जो मोस्ट चैलेंजिंग काम था ये आर्च को कंप्लीट करना, आज का क्लोजर वो आज पूरा हुआ है। इसके बाद इसमें अगला काम ये है कि ये जो केबल्स आपको दिख रहे हैं, इससे केबल से पूरा वजन रुका हुआ है, तो ये वेट जो है ये रिलीज हो जाएगा जब इनको केबल्स को डिस्ट्रेस करेंगे। उसके बाद इस पर से ये जो आप ये डेक देख रहे हैं, डेक को पुश करेंगे आगे, उधर से भी होगा उधर से भी होगा, तो ऊपर बेसिकली जो ब्रिज असली चीज ब्रिज, तो ऊपर डेक की जरूरत है, तो डेक कंप्लीट होगा और उससे पहले थोड़ा इसमें और स्टेबलाइजिंग, इसमें कंक्रीट और भरी जाएगी, उससे स्टेबलाइज होगा वो, तो ये काम और बाकी है। और हम ये आशा करते हैं कि अगले 1 साल के अंदर करीब करीब इसी टाइम अगले साल ये ब्रिज कंप्लीट हो जाएगा।
So what is this arc bridge that we're talking about? It's the highest arc bridge of the world. It's an engineering marvel. Let's look at some important features of the bridge through this video wall. This is the world's highest railway bridge. It is 359 meters high above the river bed of Chenab. 359 meters down the river flows. It's a treacherous river. Getting around that, getting over that was a huge, humongous task. It was actually an engineering marvel which the engineers have achieved. It's 30 meters higher than the Eiffel Tower. The bridge is part of the 272-kilometer long Kashmir rail link. It's being constructed over River Chenab. It is, as I said, part of that Kashmir rail link. The Kashmir rail link is currently on between Kazikund and Banihal. There are parts of which are functional, but this part is being completed. It's the biggest civil engineering challenge faced by any railway project in India so far. The length of the bridge is 1.3 kilometers. It will include a 14-meter dual carriageway. That means two-way traffic can run on it. It will include a 1.2-meter wide central verge. The design speed, that means the traffic on this bridge, that the train can run at a speed of 100 kilometers per hour. The expected lifespan of this bridge is 20 years. The estimated cost, 1,486 crore rupees are estimated to be spent on it once it's completely complete. It's an earthquake resistant bridge up to the magnitude of 8 on the Richter scale. Remember, this area is in seismic zone 4. It's hit by a lot of earthquakes. So it's an earthquake. If you can withstand 8 is a very high intensity on the Richter scale. It can resist speeds up to very high intensity. It can high intensity blasts. It can resist. The steel used here is resistant to minus 20 degrees temperature. And as I said, it can withstand huge wind speeds up to and above 200 kilometers an hour. And the work on the bridge targeted is to be completed by next year. So what really has happened today is that the plates have been complete. That arc has been completed. The bridge will get completed in 1 year from now. And let's now move on to our developing story. Let's talk about the election preparedness for the poll-bound states. 4 states and 1 union territory, that's the union territory of Puducherry, go for assembly polls tomorrow. These states are Assam, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and the union territory of Puducherry. While Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Puducherry will see a single phase of polling, the polling for the third phase will take place for 31 seats in West Bengal, and the final phase of polling will be held in Assam for 40 seats. Campaigning for the seats had come to an end last evening. Talking about Kerala, the preparations are done in Kerala for the single phase polling for 140 assembly constituencies which go to polls tomorrow. By polls to the Malappuram parliamentary seat in Kerala will also be conducted. My colleague Ravi Dhiman joins us for more on that story. He's reporting from the ground. He's joining us from Kochi for more updates. Ravi, first of all, give us a sense of the poll preparations for tomorrow's polls in Kerala.
Well, Amritpal, we are standing here in a girls' school in Kochi, which was the center for distribution of election material to all the polling agents and the presiding officers. That exercise, which started at 8 a.m. sharp in the morning, is nearing completion because most of the polling agents and
the polling staff on duty, yes,
entrusted with the task of doing polling, ensuring the polling happens peacefully, have left for their polling stations and polling booths with their EVM machines and other election material that was given to them here. And now the focus will shift on to the polling booths and polling centers spread all across the state, where polling will happen tomorrow. And to ensure free and fair polling and the smooth polling process, many arrangements have been done by district administrations in all of the districts of Kerala, especially concerning the COVID-19 protocols. And they have been, all the polling agents and the presiding officers have been asked to ensure strict following of the COVID-19 protocol when the polling process takes place tomorrow in many centers and polling booths and polling centers across the state in Kerala.
All right, Ravi, let's talk about the political climate in the state. We've seen, the UDF and the LDF do an alternate stint in power in that state. That's how traditionally the state has run. What is the political climate this time around?
Well, that is an interesting question because this time around, although the power has been oscillating between these two fronts for many decades now, and Kerala has been known to favor the anti-incumbency, the Malayali voter has been known to discuss the performance of the government and the drawbacks of the incumbent and then vote accordingly. But this time around, what we hear and what we feel from the ground is that the battle is too close to call, especially because there is a third constituent which is also emerging as a major force in many pockets. And the NDA candidates garnered quite an amount of votes, in excess of 35,000 in 8 to 10 constituencies last time around. And they had in excess of 30,000 in 1 or 2 constituencies in 2016. The BJP opened its account in 2016 winning a constituency in Thiruvananthapuram, which is Nemam. And the party leaders now believe that the party has a chance to win more constituencies this time around. Naturally, when there is a third entrant into the fierce bipolar politics of Kerala, the votes will be divided, and which way the pendulum will swing. Will it be to the benefit of the LDF or the UDF? That's a question which is wavering in all the minds of political people here, and it's very difficult to judge right now whether the trend of power changing hands will continue in Kerala, or whether we'll see a new trend or whether we'll see a new pattern emerging from these elections. So these are very interesting times. Kerala stands at a very interesting trisection, and it can go either way in these elections, and it will be interesting to see which way the voter really goes, and will it stay with the LDF creating history of sorts for Pinarayi Vijayan, or will it go with the Congress confirming its tilt towards the anti-incumbency factor, and how much will the NDA gain in these elections? These questions remain to be answered and will be answered when the ballot boxes, the EVM counting of the votes in the EVM will be done.
Right.
And one more thing which is very important.
Please go ahead.
It is crucial for all the three constituents, the left, the Congress and the BJP. The left, because the left is not in power in any other state in the country, they want to cling on to power here, to remain relevant in the national politics, to have a say in the national politics as a major party in power in a fairly advanced and literate state in India. Similarly, for the UDF, it is very important because after 2016 came the general elections in which Rahul Gandhi was fielded from Wayanad, and Congress literally, the UDF literally swept the polls, winning 19 seats out of 20. So these elections are also a sort of political referendum on whether Rahul Gandhi has the capability to lead Kerala in the assembly polls or not. We have seen vociferous campaign by both the camps here, including by the Prime Minister, who has made 4 visits to Kerala. So quite an interesting time in Kerala politics.
All right, you keep a watch on that, Ravi. We'll keep coming back to you. It'll be interesting to see how the people of Kerala vote this time around. Thank you very much for joining us for the moment. And let's shift focus to Tamil Nadu. The high voltage campaign concluded yesterday evening with the NDA and DMK Congress putting an all-out effort to woo the voters. Polling for 234 constituencies in Tamil Nadu and the Kanyakumari by-poll for the Lok Sabha seat will begin at 7 a.m. and will close at 6 p.m. Voters, polling staff and security officials have to wear masks and maintain social distancing. The thermal screening of voters will be conducted at the polling station. The Election Commission has made adequate arrangements in wake of COVID-19. Electronic voting machines or EVMs and voter verifiable paper audit or the VVPA trail units have been kept ready and would be moved to the respective booths latest by this evening. My colleague Abhishek Shah joins us for more on that. He joins us from Kanyakumari. Abhishek, you are in the constituency, Lok Sabha constituency that goes to polls. Talk about that and also give us a sense of how the politics of Tamil Nadu is playing out. You've been at different places, been touring the state over the past many days now. Give us what you see and read on the ground.
Amit, the poll campaigning has been widely divided into 2 fronts. One led by DMK stalwart and DMK leader Stalin, his son Udayanidhi, and the battery of leaders from that side, and the other side led by the ruling party AIDMK, which is in alliance with BJP and few other regional parties, and this is the broad contour of this state's politics. The aggressive campaigning has seen so many inappropriate use of wording also, which also became issues of campaigning and putting charges against each other. Even the sometimes like those abusive languages used by some senior DMK leaders also was also mentioned during Prime Minister's speech, that how inappropriate those words were from the DMK leader side, and these were actually very insulting towards women. In fact, many BJP leaders tried to make that issue a larger one, and We'll have to see how much it actually will have its impact on the voting day. As of now, the voting preparation across the state has been in the last phase. Across the highways that we are moving, we are seeing like at regular intervals there is a checkpoint where the vehicles are being checked. You know that Tamil Nadu is one of the states which is broadly very peaceful and calm if we talk about the election process and polling campaign. However, the money trail is something that is unique in this state and which is almost most of the time Tamil Nadu tops the list of state which has where the Election Commission and its officials seizes money and liquor. So this time also Election Commission has put in place all the effective measures that it can for the sensitive seats. Special revenue observers have been deputed. Apart from that, talking about the health safety protocol during this COVID time, masking, sanitization and social distancing are the three major health safety protocols that is to be practiced along all the polling booths. All the voters, they will have to maintain polling, during the polling they will have to maintain social distancing. Adequate measures have been put in place, and one can hope that all the administrative work of Election Commission that has been in this state for over a month now will be successfully conducted tomorrow.
Abhishek, when you talk to the people of Tamil Nadu, do you see any wave input in the favor of a particular front? For a very long time, at least for your and my lives, we've seen the Tamil Nadu politics being dominated by two big stalwarts, Jayalalitha and Karunanidhi. Do you sense the state is coming out of that personality cult now in these elections?
Amit, coming out of personality cult would be a little difficult to gauge at this point of time, because so far the election has been widely contested, remembering both the leaders or taking their names during, especially even including Prime Minister, BJP leaders. Most of these leaders also, while campaigning for NDA candidates, they would always make it a point that they do highlight name of Amma and how benevolent she was.
The shadow of the legacy of Anna and Amma goes on.
Administrator she was as a chief minister for the state.
Go ahead.
Yeah, of course. And on the other side, the name of Kalangar is very important for every DMK leaders, that they would like to mention their name and how he was a very good orator, he was a very good administrator and all. In fact, Kalangar and Amma, Kalangar has especially that cult figure that even the Prime Minister, he also mentions him like Kalangar ji. So you will have to see that cult figure, the legacy. Nobody wants to disturb that. At the same time, other people are trying to create their own legacy coming from the cinema background. Kamal Hassan is one cinema artist who has been widely appreciated for his art in the film, but how smart will he be in this election campaigning and election process, that we will have to see. He has projected himself as a chief minister candidate for his party, MNM. MNM has the history of around 2-3 years. The last general election, MNM party was contesting across the state, but it could not secure any seat. However, about 6 to 7% of voting was in favor of MNM, and that is why that is what probably has given Kamal Hassan confidence that he can have some significant presence in the state. He is trying his luck from South Coimbatore seat, which is going to be a very high profile seat, because BJP's National Women President Morcha, Vanati Srinivasan, she is also fighting from that seat. DMK, which is trying to fight against the anti-incumbency of 10 years rule, AIDMK is also trying to win that South Coimbatore seat. Overall, apart from all the high-profile political contestants in the state, the anti-incumbency is also one of the issue, because Tamil Nadu has been one of the states where the politics and the governance has been alternatively. People do switch sides every 5 years. But exceptionally, the last 10 years has been in the favor of AIDMK, and will the people of the state again doing the favor for the AIDMK, or they will be switching the side? That we will have to see on 2nd of May when the counting of the votes.
So you keep a track on that. We'll keep coming back to you. Read what's happening on the ground and tell us about that. Thank you, Abhishek, for joining us for the moment. And moving on to our national pride segment now. Let's first talk about COVID. The situation from COVID-19 across the country is that the total active caseload stands at 7.41 lakh as of today, which comprises 5.89% of the country's total positive cases. The national recovery rate remains to be good with 92.8%, while the cumulative recoveries stand at 1 crore 16 lakh 82,136. So to fight with COVID-19, the centre has accelerated the vaccination drive across the country. A total of 7 crore 91 lakh 5,163 doses have been administered so far across the nation. 16 lakh 38,464 people were vaccinated on Sunday. This is the single day figure for Sunday. Meanwhile, Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan will conduct a meeting with the health ministers of 11 states of the country at 6 p.m. Tomorrow. These are the states which have reported the most number of COVID-19 cases in the country. So there is a spike in some states. The positivity rate is good, the recovery rate is good, but it's still a matter of concern and states are taking strict measures to control the situation. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the authorities have closed schools up to 9th to 18th of April in view of the rising trend of the COVID-19 cases. The classes from 10th to 12th have also been closed for 1 week. Apart from this, all gatherings for social functions and customary functions in the UT have been restricted to 200 after following necessary COVID SOPs. Talking about Rajasthan, the Rajasthan government has issued a fresh list of restrictions amid the surge in the cases. While RT-PCR tests have been made mandatory for people entering the state and those travelling outside the state, schools from classes 1 to 9 will remain shut until further orders. All undergraduate and postgraduate classes will remain suspended except for the final year students who are allowed to go to their institutions. Nursing, paramedical and medical colleges will remain open as before. Talking about Odisha. The Odisha government has imposed a night curfew in 10 districts, but the curfew will remain in force from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. in view of the rising COVID-19 cases. The districts where the curfew will be imposed, these are Sundargarh, Jharsuguda, Sambalpur, Bargarh, Bolangir, Naupada, Kalahandi, Navrangpur, Koratput and Malkangiri. All shops, commercial establishments, offices, institutions will remain closed and the movement of individuals will be prohibited between 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. except for essential activities. And as Maharashtra continues to be the worst affected state in India, remember it contributes to 59% of the cases. The Maharashtra cabinet has approved imposition of some stringent restrictions. Night curfew will be implemented from 8 this evening to the 30th of April across the state. It has also been decided to impose a weekend lockdown between 8 p.m. on Friday to 7 a.m. on Monday in the state. Medical and other essential services will be excluded from this. Agricultural work, public and private transport will also continue smoothly, but private offices, restaurants, cinemas, crowded places will remain closed. And my colleague Shishir Shelar joins us for more on that from Mumbai on the COVID updates. Shishir, give us a sense of the situation today as far as COVID goes and the measures taken by the state government.
Well, absolutely, Amritpal. If you look at these numbers in Maharashtra especially, these numbers are highest numbers so far we have seen here. Even during the first wave of the corona, the Maharashtra has registered the cases in a single day probably in the range between 25,000 to 30,000. But yesterday, Maharashtra has registered nearly 50,000 cases in a single day. That's a record so far that state has registered. Well, that's the reason the government have taken some strict action. An SOP has also been issued here, and you rightly said there will be a 141 section imposed during daytime in entire Maharashtra, and during evening there will be a night curfew till morning 7 a.m. That's what the government have announced yesterday. Apart from that, apart from the essential services, all other offices have been closed here. Cinema halls, theatres, gym, shopping malls, everything will be closed during this time also. And only the essential services and the general store, the grocery stores are allowed to open within a limited time that the government have given here. Apart from that, as far as the transportation is concerned, the public transportation is concerned, government have also laid down some rules for the transportation here. Only few people can travel at a time from the buses, those who can accommodate and they can sit properly. No standing passenger is allowed in the bus as well as in the train. As far as auto and taxis are concerned also, the government have set certain rules for them as well. Now looking at these numbers, increasing number here, the government is also focusing on increasing the vaccination on the other hand. Because yesterday Maharashtra has registered, almost administered more than 4,60,000 vaccination in entire Maharashtra, and the numbers are keep increasing. So as the center has directed to the state of Maharashtra that they have to more focus on testing, tracing and treatment, and at the same time they have to focus on the vaccination drive as well. So the government is increasing the testing. The 1 lakh numbers we already crossed here every day. The Maharashtra is crossing the 1 lakh test, RT-PCR test in a day, and probably going forward now these numbers will keep on increase. On the other hand, like yesterday, the Mumbai has actually witnessed the 11,000 cases itself, and the Pune has registered more than that. Pune has registered more than 12,000 cases, which is biggest so far in the state here. And that's the reason, especially the tier 1 cities like Mumbai, Pune, Nagpur, Nasik, these are the cities where government is more focused on. At the same time, the rural areas where we have seen the maximum number, especially the Vidarbha region from where it was started earlier. And apart from that, the Paschim Maharashtra, the region where the numbers are the numbers are increasing day by day. So these are the areas also that the government is focusing and try to contaminate here. Well, the special containment zone policy have also been implemented just a few days back here. In Mumbai also, the BMC have taken a lot of care here, especially the containment zone where they have marked, the people have been told not to go out from the containment zone here. At the same time, as far as the manufacturing sector, because talking about the lockdown, there has been reports in the media that the government may impose lockdown, but many of the ministers in the state government have said that lockdown is not the only option here, but right now implementing this rule very stringently is the option that they're looking forward. But if the numbers are keep increasing, then probably state government have left with no choice but to impose lockdown. Currently, there's no lockdown in the state except for the weekend, because the government have said that there'll be complete lockdown from 8 p.m. till starting from Friday to 7 a.m. till Monday. So there'll be a complete lockdown during weekend starting from today. Yes, Amit Shah.
All right, Shishir, many thanks for joining us and giving us that update. Thank you. And the Pariksha Paycha 2021 will take place on the 7th of April at 7 p.m. Prime Minister Narendra Modi in a tweet said this year's event will have a new format with questions covering a wide range of subjects. In the Pariksha Paycha, Prime Minister Modi interacts with board exam students or students who have to write their board exams and answers their questions and shares tips with them to overcome exam stress. But another big news that came from Mumbai today, the Bombay High Court has directed the CBI to conduct a preliminary inquiry into the corruption allegations against Maharashtra Home Minister Anil Deshmukh. It ordered the CBI to conduct inquiry into the charges over Anil Deshmukh, which were levelled by former Commissioner of Mumbai Police Parambir Singh. The petitioner in the case, Dr. Jayashri Patil, appearing for Parambir Singh, said that the High Court has asked the CBI director to conduct this inquiry within 15 days and to register an FIR if any cognizable offence is found.
मेरे मैटर में जो इंक्वायरी है सीबीआई को दी है, डायरेक्टर जनरल जो सीबीआई के है वो इंक्वायरी करे इसमें प्रिलिमिनरी इंक्वायरी और मुझे बुलाए, मुझे इन्फॉर्म करे और इसमें इफ नेसेसरी कॉग्निजेबल ऑफेंस तो एफआईआर रजिस्टर करें.
And for more on that story, I'm joined by my colleague Yogesh, who's joining us more from Mumbai. Yogesh, the CBI now orders a CBI inquiry into the matter against the Home Minister. Directs the CBI to conduct the preliminary findings within 15 days, register an FIR if required. If there is a cognizable offence found, we'll know about what the CBI finds over the next 15 days. But is this expected to affect the state politics Anil Deshmukh's career, his position in the government?
Since the day the letter was, written by the former CP Paramveer Singh, the same day it was surfaced that a lot of issues, a lot of new things will be emerged, and definitely this is the thing we are witnessing at this point in time, because we have seen that on 20th of this month of March, the letter was basically a diss to the Chief Minister, where Paramveer Singh had leveled a number of allegations against Home Minister Anil Deshmukh. And since there was no action that was taken by the Chief Minister, Paramveer Singh then moved to the Supreme Court, and later on Supreme Court also refused to entertain the plea and asked Paramveer Singh to approach the Bombay High Court, which would be the appropriate platform to address his grievances. Now the Bombay High Court today made it very clear that CBI has to investigate this case. Now, however, this would be the preliminary inquiry that would be concluded within a period of 15 days. And after that, it will be in fact at the discretion of CBI whether the agency finds something substantial to register an FIR in this case, or agency has submit something.
Yogesh, we know all that. So I'm saying talk about the political fallout. Yogesh,
in this case, because we had seen recently that number of things have been surfaced in the media also, and also during the investigation by the NIA in this case, which the investigation is currently underway by the NIA in this case also. So definitely remains to be seen that what comes out from the preliminary investigation by preliminary inquiry by the CBI.
All right, thank you Yogesh for joining us and giving us that update. Thank you so much. Moving on, Uttarakhand has witnessed over 1,000 incidents of forest fire over the last 6 months, including 45 recently. To participate in the firefighting operations in nearby jungles, the Indian Air Force's helicopters arrived in the Koti colony area of Tehri Garhwal. The Air Force is using Mi-17 helicopters for the operations. Forest fires have been more frequent than usual in Uttarakhand and have also taken place during winter. Dry soil caused by a weak monsoon is being seen as one of the causes. The DRDO, the Defence Research and Development Organization, has developed an advanced chaff technology to safeguard the naval ships against enemy missile attack. The Defence Laboratory at Jodhpur, a DRDO laboratory, has indigenously developed 3 variants of this critical technology named short-range chaff rocket, medium-range chaff rocket and long-range chaff rocket, meeting the Indian Navy's qualitative requirements. The successful development of the advanced chaff technology by DLJ is another step towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. A suspicious object was found near the National Media Center in New Delhi, after which bomb squad and a dog squad reached the spot. Bomb disposal squad of team of CISF checked items thoroughly and explosive was ruled out. The wrapped item turned out to be a plastic toy.
CISF सुबह लगभग 10 बजे बाहर चेकिंग कर रही थी. उस दौरान एक डस्टबिन में, गेट के पास जो डस्टबिन है, उसमें ये टॉय जैसी आइटम मिला. तो थोड़ा सा सस्पिशियस हुआ. वो एक पॉलिथीन में थोड़ा सा रैप था. तो CISF ने अपना BDS तुरंत कॉल किया, लोकल पुलिस को मुझे इन्फॉर्म किया डायरेक्टली. उसके बाद डिप्टी कमांडेंट साहब हमारे CISF के, उन्होंने, उसके बाद हमने CISF ने उसका एक्सरे करवाया प्रॉपर. फिर बॉम्ब डिस्पोजल एंड डिटेक्शन स्क्वाड का जो सूट होता है वो पहना के उसको बाकायदा उसका डायसेक्शन किया और उसमें कुछ भी सस्पिशियस नहीं मिला. वो खिलौना ही.
And in Midday Prime, it's time for news and updates from the world of business. And my colleague Tanvi Taneja joins us with more from the world of business. I hear the markets are plummeting. Tanvi, give us a sense of what's making news in the world of business.
Yes, Amrit, the Sensex has suffered big losses so far today. After a weak opening, the Sensex at the Bombay Stock Exchange lost ground and had tumbled 754 points or 1.5% to 49,276 a short while ago. The Nifty at the National Stock Exchange had slumped 210 points or 1.4% to 14,658. The broader market also took a big hit, with the BSE mid-cap index dropping 1.8% and the small-cap index sliding 1.5%. The The market fell amid a surge in COVID cases and on profit booking by investors ahead of the fourth quarter corporate results. The top index losers were SBI, Bajaj Finance, Bajaj Finserv and IndusInd Bank, with losses of between 4.8% and 6%. So to understand the markets better, we are now joined by Dr. Ravi Singh, market expert. So we are joined by market expert Ravi. Dr. Ravi Singh, thank you for being with us in Business Prime. So the market has been weak in the previous few sessions, and today the Sensex tumbled over 1200 points in opening session. How do you see this? What is responsible for this market weakness?
There are several reasons which are contributing towards the fall in Nifty and Sensex. Mainly is higher commodity prices like copper, steel, NG and aluminium. And rising COVID case is also one of the main reasons. That's why market losing the confidence, and overall inflation is rising and giving the room to the downwards. And low industry and manufacturing data, economy is already struggling to get back the track of the COVID pandemic. So negative disappointment is going on. That's why, and global is also, because global failure is also not supporting the market. That's why overall market trend is down, and all the sectors, major sectors like FMCG, power, PSU, real estate are huge selling, and mid cap and small cap is also participating in this.
Yes, right. And Ravi, what would you advise for the small investors to do at this point?
See, when market is in correction mode, then the new investor has a great opportunity to buy and enter in this market. But I think in this week you have seen very much in a sell side, and I hope in next couple of days will be a downward trend. So better you wait and watch. If you want to enter in this market, so please take care, because overall sectors are in a downtrend. But if you want to invest, then FMCG and pharma sector are good, so you can invest in these sectors. But overall market is totally down, and mid cap and small cap is in basically in a downtrend. So make a distance, make a few day distance with the market, but lower level you can enter in this market.
Right, invest cautiously is the message Ravi is giving us. Thank you, Ravi, for sharing your valuable insights with us. Moving on, RBI's first Monetary Policy Committee meeting of the financial year has begun in Mumbai. The meeting, which lasts for 3 days, will decide on the future of key interest rates as well as the current state of the economy. A growth rate of 10.5% has been forecast for this financial year. However, the manufacturing PMI level in March was 55.4, which is a 7-month low. So that's it in Business Prime for the moment. Over to you, Amrit.
Thank you, Dhanvi, for that. And let's now take a look at what's making news across the globe. Iran and the United States will hold indirect talks in Vienna from Tuesday as part of broader negotiations to revive the 2015 nuclear deal between Tehran and global powers. Tehran has ruled out face-to-face bilateral discussions, but the presence of both Iran and the United States in the Austrian capital will help to focus efforts on bringing all sides back into compliance with the accord. The aim is to reach an agreement within 2 months, said a senior official with the European Union, who is now the coordinator of the deal. A Bangladesh ferry carrying around 50 passengers collided with a cargo vessel and sank on Sunday in the Shita Lakshya River south of capital Dhaka, leaving at least 5 persons dead and many more missing. The ferry, which departed from Narayanganj district about 20 kilometers off Dhaka, was travelling to Munshiganj. The boat was packed with people rushing to go to their hometown after the government announced a week-long nationwide lockdown from today to tackle a spike in the COVID-19 cases. Now let's take a look at the updates on COVID-19 from across the world. The cases of COVID-19 globally have crossed the 30 crore mark. More than 13 crore 19 lakh people worldwide have contracted COVID-19 so far, while over 10 crore 62 lakh have recovered from the virus. The deadly virus has so far claimed more than 28 lakh 66,000 lives globally. The United States remains the worst affected country by coronavirus. The country has reported more than 3 crore 14 lakh COVID-19 cases. Over 5 lakh 68,000 fatalities have been reported in the United States so far. In Paris, thousands of police officers were deployed across the region on Sunday as France entered its third national COVID-19 lockdown. The police numbered at more than 6,600 around the Île-de-France region for 3-day Easter weekend was conducting checks in fixed points as well as mobile controls to ensure that people respect health measures. On Sunday, the police patrolled along the banks of River Seine and Saint Martin Canal, two hotspots prone to overcrowding as they are favorites by Parisians looking to take in the warm weather. People who disobey the rules could receive fines of at least €135. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson will set out plans to reopen the economy and eventually relaunch international travel today as much of Europe enters new lockdowns to tackle the surging cases. Prime Minister Johnson will give an update on his staggered plan to ease restrictions in the coming months. The gradual relaxation of rules will also be aided by the increase in testing availability. Under the current plan, international travel will not resume until May 17th at the earliest. Meanwhile, in Thailand, it's an all-important tourism sector that has jumped to the head of the COVID-19 vaccination line, with the country's most popular resort island embarking on a mass inoculation program 2 months ahead of the rest of the country. The island Phuket aims to deliver shots to at least 460,000 people as it gears up for July 1st, when vaccinated overseas visitors will no longer be required to quarantine. Meanwhile, medical workers, the members of the cabinet and the elderly were the first to be vaccinated. Thailand's decision to prioritize Phuket over other parts of the country underscores the central role of the tourism to the economy. And let's now take a look at stories from the world of sports. Well, let's talk about shooting first. Rifle shooter Alavinil Valavarin has been included in a 15-member Indian shooting contingent for the Tokyo Olympics, while Manu Bhaker is slated to represent the country in the 3 events. Bhaker will be fielded in both the women's 25 meters pistol alongside with experienced Rahi Sarnobat in her pet 10 meters air pistol event with Yashwini Deswal. She will partner with Saurabh Chaudhary in the mixed team event, where they have had a stellar run at the World Cups. Pistol quota winner Chinky Yadav, who had claimed a gold in Delhi World Cup last month, could only earn a reserve spot. To deal with the uncertainty caused by COVID-19 pandemic, the National Rifle Association of India named 2 reserves in each discipline where its shooters have won quota places for the Games. Indian athletes enjoyed a medal rush at the Dubai Badminton International on Sunday, including 5 gold medals. On an action-packed final day of the Indian contingent, world champion Pramod Bhagat defeated compatriot Kumar Nitesh 21-17, 21-18 in the final of the men's singles SL3 event to back the gold medal. Naga Krishna also won a gold medal. He defeated Malaysia's Duden Tarasov 21-17, 21-18 in the final of the men's singles A-set 6 event. In the women's singles, India's Manas Joshi and Palak Kohli won a silver medal each. Prem Kumar Ale clinched a gold medal with his Russian partner Tatiana Gurieva in the mixed doubles WH1 category. And time now for our next segment, Life Prime, where we bring you stories from the world of art, culture, cinema, fashion, science and innovation. Stories that bring smiles and stories that are changing lives. Let's begin with the story about Berlin's gorillas who got an Easter treat on Sunday, colored eggs in a basket of salad leaves. In scenes reminiscent of a children's nursery rhyme, the father gorilla Sango tried to take all the eggs for himself, leaving the mother and the baby looking on. The new baby Tila was happy with her mother's milk. Mother Bibi watched as Sango ate his eggs, leaving her with the carrot. Each gorilla had its own tactic to eat the unusual treat. Take a look at this. Well, we'll have to stop the story for another breaking news coming in from Mumbai. The political fallout of the High Court's decision to order a CBI probe against Home Minister Anil Deshmukh has taken place. The Home Minister has tendered his resignation. I'm joined for more on that by my colleague Yogesh Sheetal, who joins us for more on that. Yogesh, can you hear me?
Yes.
We hear the breaking news is that the Home Minister has has tendered his resignation to the Chief Minister. Give us more on that.
Yes, Amit Shah, you're right. This is the first major fallout in MOVA government, that's Mahavikas Aghadi government till now. The Home Minister, in fact, has submitted his resignation. We know that early in the day also, opposition leader Devendra Fadnavis has mounted a lot of pressure on the government that Anil Deshmukh should resign immediately because we know that early in the day also Bombay High Court has ruled against Anil Deshmukh and given the direction to the SBI to carry out 15-day preliminary inquiry against him in the alleged role of running out an extortion kind of racket with the help of some police officers. So definitely this was a very very harsh allegations against Home Minister, and that's the reason why a lot of political developments were also coming in from different corners in Maharashtra. So finally, the submission, he has already submitted his resignation. Now it remains to be seen that what will be the further course of action, because it remains to be seen that how Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray has to respond now. Because the resignation has been submitted to the Chief Minister. Now it remains to be seen that what will be the further development. Also, one thing very importantly, that the state BJP leader has been earlier in the day, also Devendra Fadnavis, we know that Devendra Fadnavis had issued in the statement in the view of the judgment that was passed earlier in the day by the Bombay High Court that he should resign. And apart from BJP leaders, also some top leaders within the party from the NCP, because Anil Deshmukh is basically from the NCP, which is an alliance partner in the Mahavikas Aghadi government. So this is definitely Sharad Pawar. Now it remains to be seen that what is the extent of Sharad Pawar, because what we have been given to understand that firstly he met Sharad Pawar, and after communication and after the consent of Sharad Pawar, now the resignation has been submitted. So this is in fact the first major fallout in the MVA government since the MVA government formed last year.
So you're saying Sharad Pawar would have given a nod, because Sharad Pawar, when these allegations were leveled, had said that the Chief Minister is, authorized to order to inquiry into this. But now with the High Court saying, well, it's not the Maharashtra police, but the CBI should conduct an inquiry. So finally, the NCP threw in the towel, and Uddhav Thackeray would have spoken to Sharad Pawar, made him see reason that why it becomes difficult for him to keep Anil Deshmukh in his cabinet.
See, Amit Pal, this is now going to be tougher and tougher, going to be very challenging for the government, especially particularly for Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray to hide and to just get this issue cast away from this issue, just take the issue lightly. Because what we had seen in the Bombay High Court earlier, it was the entire political thing, blame game. So we know the exchange of statements. So we have seen also when the issue was raised in the assembly, NCP from the ruling government, NCP and also Congress and also the Shiv Sena, these three parties had countered the BJP and also referred some allegations on the Fadnavis government when the Fadnavis government was in power. So the entire thing was political by that time. But today, when the Bombay High Court issued judgment, the Bombay High Court ruled in favor of the applicant who was demanding an FIR against Anil Deshmukh, who is the Home Minister. And when the Bombay High Court, the division bench of Bombay High Court, which was consisting of the Chief Justice of the Bombay High Court and also Justice G.S. Kulkarni, when these two judges ruled against Anil Deshmukh, so now things, political things just came apart, and now the legal things have started. So when the matter goes in the in the legal battle, and also since the CBI is going to be going to take the entire investigation into the hand, and also we know that NIA is already carrying investigation. The investigation is already underway in the Antilia threat case, and also the case which is there are two multiple cases, also Mansukh Hiren case, and also that Antilia terror scare case. So the two cases are already being investigated by a central agency. Now the High Court, in the order, the High Court has said very precisely two terms have been used by the Bombay High Court. That says that the case is basically the case is basically very serious in nature and extraordinary and unprecedented. So extraordinary and unprecedented, these two terms are used by the Bombay High Court. So this indeed this case has received a lot of momentum, and that is the reason why ultimately Home Minister has to resign at this point in time.
Also, apart from the word unprecedented, they've used that the allegations against the Home Minister are grave. It surely had to have a political fallout. We'll see where the story goes, but it's surely going to upstring the politics of Maharashtra, at least in the short term. Thank you, Yogesh Sheetal, for joining us for the moment. And that's it in Midday Prime for the moment. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.